Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is the Diaspora Panel, the voice of the diaspora. We're happy to be here again today. And today, already I have in the house, as always, I have Mr. Ademola Adisa, who is based in the United Kingdom. Mr. Adisa, you are welcome to today's meeting.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I have Mr. Olaitan Adedigba, who is based in the United States of America. Mr. Adedigba, you are also welcome.
I'm happy to be here today.
I have also Mr. Lawal, who is based in Canada. Mr. Lawal, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me this morning.
And all the way from Nigeria, as a guest today is Dr. Tayo Awodia. Dr. Awodia, you are also welcome. My name is Dejalaya, and I'm based in the Republic of Ireland. Right. So today we're going to discuss two issues. We're going to discuss the security scare in Nigeria, and also the issue of surrounding the redesigning of the Naira. So I'm going to start with you, Demola, since you are the first in the studio. So in the last week or so, the United States Embassy and the Embassy of the United Kingdom issued warnings that there's going to be some, strikes in Nigeria, especially in Abuja, the capital city. They warned their staff to all leave Nigeria, and they actually evacuated, their citizens from Abuja back home to America. But in Nigeria, we have not seen anything happening. The security guy said there's no cause for alarm, and people are now wondering what could be the motive for the United States and the UK for declaring this state of emergency. Demola, what's your take on that?
Oh, thank you, Deji. It's really very concerning. The America and the British government or commissions in Nigeria raising the alert. They specify some states which they believe are very much sensitive, that they believe that can be trouble in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But it's go beyond the normal security alert, because in previous declaration by either the British or the United States government, is usually where there is glaring insecurity, where there is arms conflicts, and where they think their citizens or are not safe. But from what is visible in Nigeria, though we have all this problem in Nigeria all along, they never declare any insecurity or alert for their citizens. And it's when the government is actually clamping down on most of these conflict areas that they are now asking for their citizens to leave Nigeria, to leave Abuja, not even the whole of Nigeria, those sensitive areas. Is really concerning, because on the ground, physically on the ground, I don't think we have seen anything that really justify such a security, such an alarm. And it begs to listening, what exactly are they seeing that we are not seeing in Nigeria?
Thank you very much, Demola. Lighton, you live in America. In the last weekend, we saw how the husband of Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the House of Reps, was hammered in the head. The same country where people are shot on the street every day, especially Black people. They have not declared a state of emergency in their own country, but Nigeria, Abuja is relatively peaceful. Why are they declaring a state of emergency in Abuja?
that go a long way to show you the kind of uh, attachment they give to security, right?
Mm.
People, they don't toy with their citizens. Unlike Nigeria, anybody can kill anybody, can go, and it wasn't like this in Nigeria before, right? We don't give a lip service to security in Nigeria. We must be the way. So America too is, I mean, there are a lot of gun, I mean, whereby they are shooting in schools, in hospitals, in malls, shopping malls, everywhere. But it's not as rampant as the way it's going in Nigeria. We are they are doing ethnic cleansing in Nigeria. Where some section of the country they will go out to another section of the country, they go and annex the place, and they will keep look at what is going on in Benue.
Mm.
And the head of state doesn't keep it was just commiserating. Nobody has been arrested.
Mm.
No, they don't arrest anybody. In Benue, in Nasarawa, in Taraba, every day, every month, they keep killing people. It's wrong. And that goes a long way to tell you what is going why they declare emergency. I mean, why they are evacuating their citizens. The British and eventually they went to some site. One shit in Abuja, and when they got there, they arrested some guys with bomb. Their house was loaded with bomb, with grenade, with everything. Right. So we need to pay more attention to security of life and property in Nigeria, right? And it's one section of the country that is doing it. So we need a lot of people are dying. A lot of people are dying. Please, we need to be frontally confront these evil people in Nigeria. It might be Yoruba, it might be Igbo, it might be Hausa, it might be Fulani. Anybody that is doing it, they should find a way of arresting them, arrest the situation.
Right. Thank you very much, Lighton. Let me go over to Shupo. Shupo, in the last few weeks, we discussed the issue of this oil theft in Niger Delta. And this has been put at the footstep of American companies and British companies. And suddenly, after we found out their pipelines after about 20 years, and we put a full stop to all these thefts, suddenly they are telling us that our Abuja city capital is no longer safe. What do you think is going on?
Well, thanks for having me this morning. I think, if we take a step back, some of the reports that came out, I think as far as probably 2-3 days ago, there were reports actually that American soldiers and operatives of the Department of State Security Services actually raided an estate in Lube area of the Federal Capital Territory. It was about Thursday or Friday. So that's concerning. Because really the way security apparatus should work is that activities to identify security threats and to neutralize them should be carried out by local law enforcement. That's what I would expect. So it's a bit concerning that American soldiers were actually involved. To your question,
sorry, are you saying that American soldiers are actually domiciled in Nigeria?
Well, there were reports, actually, I think in the Newswire a couple of days ago that American soldiers and operatives of the DSS were involved in a high-powered sting operation in Phase 3. And that's why I'm saying that's concerning. Because activities usually should be conducted by local law enforcement. Yeah. Obviously, with intelligence, across board. But to kind of answer your question, a lot of people have actually been talking about this, that why is it, suddenly after these pipelines were found, that, these so-called security reports or security concerns, are beginning to come out. So I think more, we're still waiting for more to come. But the government itself has been very silent on what is happening. I mean, is there an investigation? If there is, who is leading that investigation? Are the pipelines that have been discovered, are they still, is loading still going on? So there's just a bunch of questions that kind of surrounds, all of this. And I think I don't think we should underscore linking these two activities together, because the reality is that the oil that is being stolen is going somewhere. Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what happens. Somebody is loading it, and it's ending up somewhere. So where is it ending up? And whoever is taking the oil, I think we would all agree that buying stolen property is a crime as well on its own. So I think let's wait for more information to come. But for a government that has been one-sided when it comes to justice, in which people clamoring, for a referendum are imprisoned, but full-blown terrorists are released, so to speak, draws a lot of questions in their ability to be able to maintain law and order.
Thank you very much, Shupo. Thank you. Demola, I was listening to an online report, and I heard that over 90% of the oil stolen in Nigeria actually end up in one port in America. So this evidently shows that, all the oil that has been stolen in Nigeria, are actually ending up in America. And now that it looks like the federal government has caught on, and they have, set up to curb this theft. Why is American government not looking into this matter? Why are they silent?
This is very coincident, because or something, because if America and Britain are lovers of Nigeria as they usually claim to be, if they should have been more supportive in addressing this concern, these issues all along. And they know that the work of bandit is the one that usually, all this oil theft is the one that encourages banditry and all this terrorism. So if they are partaking in oil theft, then we need to ask ourselves, are they also encouraging terrorism and banditry in Nigeria? Are they trying to destabilize Nigeria? Are they working towards making sure that Nigeria back up? Because this is a very concerning issue. These are people we regard to as one of our closest allies and friends. And if they don't wish Nigeria well, then it's really, really concerning. Because I believe they're supposed to be helping us to stabilize our democracy, to stabilize the country's security, to encourage our economic and political development, so that we can be much acceptable with the rest of the world, and we can help in maintaining peace in Africa and let Africa grow and meet up to the standard that the world is expecting. But if this is another sort of neocolonialism that they are practicing, trying to say they are loving us and now they are also backsliding us, it's very concerning, because I don't have anything for now to say maybe otherwise, but the way things are, it seems they are not really trying to stabilize Nigeria. Because even it's coming to reasoning now. All along, Yaradua was complaining that we are not having enough support from the West to harm us against terrorists. Even Jonathan was highly frustrated that to the extent that he cannot even buy arms in the West has debarring him from fighting the terrorists. They are not supplying him, they are debarring from importing us arms to fight the terrorists. Then it's come to beg the listening. Are they really our friend now?
That's a question. Yeah, thank you very much, Ademolo. That's a very, very lovely question. Lighton, please unmute yourself. Please unmute. Okay, so Lighton, Demola asked a wonderful question. These are friends. And actually, the question I want to ask you is, if somebody finds a problem, why could they not call the government privately and tell them, this is what we found out. This is the security situation. This is our intelligence report. Why do they have to go to the newspaper and to cause panic and to have everybody running all helter-skelter? Do you call that friends?
Well, we should know that these people, the Western world, they don't like Nigeria because of our potentials. Their aim is to underdevelop us. Right from the time of independence, you see the way they handed over the whole country to the northern part of the country. So when you read Lord, what's the name of this guy? How Europe underdeveloped Africa?
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Rodney. Yeah. Well, something Rodney. So you discover that these people are not our friends. Everything they are doing, look at how they came to, how they killed Murtala Muhammad. Right. So the British is the British. So these people, they don't want us to grow. And our people, we always play to their hands. These people, they are our enemies. Why should they, like you rightly said, why should they broadcast it to the old world? That instead of calling the government, the envoy should call the Nigerian envoy. This is what is going on. You need to give up security. So please. Not that you are evacuating. You brought plane all the way from your country to come and evacuate your embassy officials. In two countries. So something must be fishing. Right? So they went there to just capitalize on the existence problem in Nigeria. So to say, okay, they declare Nigeria is not safe. To say the least, Nigeria is not safe, but no, they over-exaggerated it. Right? So they should have find amicable solution to all these things. All the government intensify effort in this area. This is what we find out. This is what the intelligence report we have. This is how do we go about it. I mean, all these things is very simple. But because of our natural resources and their determination not to make sure that they don't develop us, that is what is thinking about all this stuff.
Thank you. Right. Thank you very much, Lighton. Shukor, please unmute. Lighton has just brushed on something I wanted to ask you. You know, there was a time one American citizen was, I think, kidnapped by Boko Haram in Niger Republic, and he was hidden in Nigeria. And America flew, you know, their planes from wherever they are, and they came and to pick up this individual who was kidnapped. Now, as you have said, we've heard that some Americans, maybe they're soldiers or intelligence officers, whatever they are, actually in Nigeria, they're going from one street to another in Abuja, you know, to arrest terrorists. Should a sovereign nation like Nigeria, Africa's leader, the leader of the Black, you know, the Black Africa, you know, 200 million people, you know, a leader, a regional power in our own right, should we be so low as to allow American soldiers wandering around all over our country? Is that acceptable?
Well, it shouldn't, but again, personally, it doesn't surprise me that something like that will happen. And the reason is because we don't currently have a really functioning government in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say. You know, what do we call it? Government. I think we need to kind of get down to that. A government is in existence when you are able to maintain your territorial integrity, you are able to defend your people, you can maintain law and order, and you can do all of these things. That's a government. First and foremost, Nigeria, for many in the last 4 or 5 years, we failed miserably at maintaining our territorial integrity. I mean, people cross the border just anyhow. Well, mostly especially the northern borders are quite porous, and this is how a lot of the insurgents, as we understand, came into the country. Obviously, again, working with elements within the federation. So we have to always understand that no foreign power can do anything that they want without any assistance or cooperation of certain elements within the country. That's just the way it works. So has it happened? Yes. Is it wrong? Absolutely. Am I surprised? No. And I think we need to stop blaming other countries, and actually we need to start taking power into our own hands. And what do I mean by that? If foreign countries will not sell you arms, that is a good incentive for you to begin to develop your own military hardware internally. We have companies in Nigeria that are actually now manufacturing, tanks and military equipment. That even Belarus, I think, earlier on in this year, took order for some tanks
from Nigeria.
So there is no excuse. The reason why things have deteriorated so badly in Nigeria is because we've had the worst leaders in the whole world. If other countries are not going to sell you equipment, who sold China equipment? How did they come about to develop their own military? It all takes will. If there is the will, and we all as a federation begin to work together, recognizing that America would always work in America's interest. The United Kingdom would always work in other kingdoms' interest. What is Nigeria's interest? We don't have anything. There are too many local interests that are subverting the national interest in Nigeria. We've never really had a national interest. And if we have, well, we've done an absolutely abysmal job pursuing those interests. So this is a time for us to reflect and actually determine who we are, who we want to be, and begin to chart our way to achieve who we want to be.
Thank you.
Both in the region, in Africa, and in the world at large.
Thank you very much, Shukwa. So we'll leave that subject. We'll go to Lighton, you have something to say, yeah?
Yeah, just to buttress what Shukwa just said. In the 70s, 80s, in Kaduna, we have DIC. We are I don't know, defense instrument also
industry.
We are about industry. We are they normally manufacture weapons locally.
Yeah.
Like the military, the military weapons, all the guns, all everything they are using, right? Everything go into extinction. So these are the area we need to face cyber problems quality. We need a leader. When we have a leader with foresight, no nation can move beyond the reasoning of their leaders. Where we have a reasonable leader, then the followers will be reasonable.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just to add to that, I mean, the Russians in the last couple of weeks have actually been using a lot of Iranian drones, for strikes in Ukraine. Who sold weapons to Iran? I mean, Iran for many years now has been under one form of embargo or the other. They developed all of it. So Nigerians are not stupid, but we need. This is an opportunity. If nobody's going to sell weapons to you, this is an opportunity for you to begin to grow your own defense industry.
Yeah. You want to say something?
Yes, please. I think, yes, this is the my suspicion, and I hope it's not true, is that I think the next year election seem to see a different course of where Nigeria is going through.
Yeah.
And if Nigeria is able to succeed, with irrespective of which any of these presidential candidate won, they will change the direction of Nigeria to a more productive and a more goal-oriented country. And I think this type of act is is subverting those activities. It's working towards not making that election possible. And we need to really stay together as one and make sure that that election comes to true, and that Nigeria really elect people that are really now having the country interest at heart. They need to follow us, or else we do our own cause with or without them.
I think that some people are looking into their mirror, to their glass, and they are thinking that 2023 is either Peter Obi or Asiwaju Tinubu. I think it's very evident now that PDP is not going to win that election. NNPP is not going to win that election. It's either Labour Party or the APC. And actually, there's something, I think they call them each or something. They put up something in the last few days. They said that they actually think Bola Tinubu will win that election. So I think some powers are trying to preempt, either of these two people from becoming president, and they want to scuttle 2023 election. That's what I think is playing out.
Yes, I agree with you, and that is, I think, is even because what they did to Abiola is what they want to happen now.
Yeah.
Because anytime we have people that can be progressive, that can move Nigeria forward, they subvert it. And that is, I believe that is what is at stake. Nigeria need to stand up and make sure that we fight against this one and make sure that it doesn't happen.
Because
I think, again, to underscore the point that foreign entities cannot successfully execute their own strategy without, the enemy within. And I think one of the things that I would say we want to call out to a lot of our viewers is that at this point in our history, Nigeria really needs to stay as one. We need to see ourselves as one country. Yesterday, I saw a YouTube video about the Zara people in Kebbi State. Wonderful history. I mean, I am one of the people that would normally just categorize Northerners as all Hausas. There is so much diversity, even in the North. And we need to embrace our diversity, see each other as brothers. That even though we may disagree on certain policies or things, but whoever wins at the end of the day has to succeed for Nigeria to really do well. So this is very, very important that we stay together as a country. And probably for the first time in our history, we begin to chart our own course.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Yeah, in staying together as a nation, as a country in Nigeria, whereby some people will be second class, while some people will be first class citizens. Is there any justice there? I'm open to correction. That is the way I view it.
No, that's the way everybody view it. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Yeah.
A lot of things at stake. Right.
You have
our togetherness. Our togetherness is master servant relationship. Right. And when there is injustice, there cannot be peace.
I think until we go back to our 1963 constitution.
Yeah, let everybody, let the region.
Everybody.
Yeah, let all the region.
Control their resources, and we just put something in the center. Until we do that, we are not going to have any peace. But okay, gentlemen, let's go to our next topic. We want to talk about the Nigerian Naira. Last week, the governor of Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele, I think that is his name, he came out to say that the central bank will redesign the Naira. I think he wants to do this for political reasons. He said that there are 80% of the money in circulation is actually outside of the bank, which means people are hiding money under their bed. People are hiding it in soakaways, preparing for the election. So he wants to get all this money off these people and then keep this money in the bank to make sure that they can have an eye on who is withdrawing what. So, Demola, first of all, you are an economist, so I'm going to start with you. When you redesign Naira, when you redesign a currency, so I mean, redesigning means that you change the color, you change the graphics. I mean, that's, for my understanding, that's the meaning of design. It's not like you are compressing it, like maybe you are redenominating or you are bringing out new denomination. You are just redesigning the paper, the color, the picture on it, just to make it look different, so that the 1,000 naira you have now is different from the one that we produced in December. Does that have any economic impact? Does that improve the life of Nigerians?
It can. It can. If you know, one of the indices that or tools that are being used to correct, to address inflation is to mop up
Excess
liquidity, especially with currencies in the market, if it's done sincerely. And we know also part of the thing that Nigeria, I think the central bank is trying to do, is to refocus our economic life away from cash transaction to digital or electronic transaction. So, and if you also notice that about a year ago, Nigeria launched the e-Naira, where they try to encourage people to transact electronically rather than to use physical cash. It's big a long way. And another aspect of it that we need to look at it also is in the last few years, between the last 15 years, there have been a lot of money, especially with looting, all the politicians that are looting money all over the place. They are stocking money all over the place. We know in 2015, when a lot of money were in the graves and in individual houses, and a lot of those people that are not caught may still be having a lot of cash which is affecting and creating inflation in the market. And another aspect of it that we can also look at is the influence of money in Nigerian politics as well, because so much money that is in the politics, we usually have a lot of excessive liquidity in our country during a political periods, especially when there is election, either at local, state, or federal levels. So the central bank trying to do this is to mop, especially with the level of inflation that is going on in Nigeria now, together with the inflation that is happening all over the world, is also is a good way of mopping up liquidity, and for the central bank to also know the actual amount of liquid currency that are out in the because I don't think they really know what level of currency that are out there. So it's a good venture, but I think if they can do it with all sincerity and not like the other previous ones, where some people are given privileges and doing it behind the screen, let them do it as open as possible, and let it make it easy for people to convert from cash into electronic transactions. And that will also be good for our security, because it will now be more easier to monitor how money is being dispensed in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Demola. Laita, many years ago, when I was wanted to travel to London, I bought a ticket for about 200 naira. In those days, you don't need a visa. You just buy your ticket, jump onto the plane, and you're in London. You understand? So, although I didn't make that trip because of so many reasons, I gave the ticket to a friend of mine who actually went. So we're talking about a period where 1 naira is equal to 50 kobo is equal to $1, thereabout. Now today, the Nigerian naira is worth less than toilet roll paper. That's why people can go to the market. The dollar now in the black market in Abuja and Lagos about 800 to 1. So while I think that the federal government is doing the right thing by resigning, I am actually thinking that what they need to do is to redenominate the naira. Redenomination means, for example, now there's nothing you can buy with 1 kobo in Nigeria. You cannot buy anything with 5 kobo. You cannot buy anything with 10 kobo. I don't think you can buy anything with 50 kobo or even 1 naira. I think if you want to buy anything in Nigeria today, you need, if you want to buy maybe a small sweet, you need about 10 naira. So most of those what do you call it?
Denomination
That I've mentioned, they are actually being removed from circulation because they don't matter anymore. So what I think the government needs to do, for example, is to compress the naira. If you come like the Ghana did many years ago, if you compress the naira, 1,000 naira, maybe you need it, it becomes 1 naira. 500 naira becomes 50 kobo. You compress it so that 1 naira would now be an equivalent of another $2 now. If you do that, it will be very, very hard, so that nobody will just go and throw it away. What they're doing now, you can see, go to parties, people are they're spraying money. They spray people 1,000 naira because 1,000 naira is just today about how much? I don't think it's not up to $1 or $2. So, Lighton, do you think that instead of wasting money to change the color of the naira, why do they not just compress the naira to make it a hard currency so that it will have value? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that changing the color of naira is not what we need now. I gave some material time. We need to redenominate naira. Like when we denominate naira, naira will be appreciating. It will gradually be appreciating, like Ghana did. But when the amount of money you are spending to change the color of naira is outrageous. Right. When I read maybe on Wednesday or Tuesday that this amount of money they are using to print naira. I mean, it's so much. And not only that, I remember one of the economists saying that what they are using, what they are doing to naira, the way they are printing it, the amount of money they are using, naira would have been better with 1 color. Like they should look at American dollar. Now, American dollar is 1 color. So you change, but you have different colors. You spend more, right, to print it than changing all this color. But he jokingly said, Nigeria is the money, right? These are the renowned economists in Harvard saying that. But Nigeria, we don't know. Everybody will just come. Soludo wanted then. Soludo wanted everybody that wanted to be buying oil from Nigeria. They should be paying naira. So pressure will be on dollar. Nobody will be chasing dollar in Nigeria. So it wants to be paying that dollar. The dollar, it wants to be paying a civil servant with dollar. So the dollar will fall in the market. Right? So these are the economy, they should come together. I'm not an economist. The economists, they should come together to find possible solution to the problem we are facing in the country with our denomination. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lighton. So, Shiko,
Yeah.
what do you think is actually pushing down the naira further and further and further. Why do you think this keep going down every day?
So, no, I'm not an economist, but I think if I do understand the simple of demand and supply, and how it plays out in global economics. And I understand that, if you are consuming more than you are producing, you are in trouble. So I think the Naira's value against other major currencies indicates the fact that the Nigerian economy has, been mostly a consuming economy. And for most of the commodities that Nigeria sells on the international market, we are at the further end of the value chain. So, we are not maximizing, and crude is an example. We export crude, we buy refined products. So that if you are selling your crude, you are at the very bottom of the value chain. If you are selling refined products, you are much higher. So it's a combination of a lot of things. And again, it comes down to bad leaders. We've never really had leaders that had the true intent to do what is best for Nigeria. We've had leaders who have done mostly what is best for their bodies, what is best for themselves, and what is best for their region. So this all comes down to the same thing. And I think what Mr. Olaitan pointed out comes down to the same core symptom. If we have leaders that are working in the interest of the country, they will implement the right policies. I think even as I went through Ashwaju's policy document, these were some of the things that he outlined that he was going to do if elected as part of his monetary policies. So why should we baseline everything on the naira? On US dollars. There's a lot that we can do, I think, in that regard. So for me, I think it all comes down to having a government that is working in the interest of the people, not for themselves, not for their bodies, and not only for their own region.
Thank you very much, Joshua. So, Demola, yeah, over to you. Yes, Demola.
Okay. The denomination of the naira you say earlier on, I think we need to be careful, because I think the new currency they are bringing on, they are going to print higher denominations. And I think it has its own value, especially because I think that is about, they are going to introduce 2,000 naira denomination and 5,000 naira denomination. In as much as this way means less, you handle less currency, but also knowing our politician, it also means that it's much easier to loot as well. Because they will not even need a Ghana monks go to do it anymore. They can even put 1 million in their pocket and nobody will know about it. And I don't think that is even good for the economy, because one of the things that is making the economy go worse is this higher denomination. In UK, the highest denomination is £50. And you rarely even see it.
Yeah.
Because the more higher, then all lower denomination become irrelevant. We are still using penny in UK. And there is you can't buy anything without getting lower denomination change. If they don't round up anything, they either be at 99p. So that means to make the lower denomination equally relevant. The more relevant it is, the lower it will press down the pricing. But when you are having big denomination money, people will be charging higher. It doesn't really make sense going to that. Now, talking about the inflation rate and the rate, I think things are becoming more difficult for us. Two things is this for the currency. The currency is overvalued. There should be one market. There should be no parallel or autonomous market.
Which currency is overvalued?
Our naira is overvalued. If you want to know the real
overvalued.
Yeah, overvalued. If you want to know the real value of naira, go to the black market.
Right.
If Nigeria, if the black market is the real value of Nigeria, if the real naira is 800 to the dollar, that is reality. If when central bank is now selling naira at 300, it's a loss. And that is why people are now trading in naira rather than trading in a commodity.
Right.
Understand? So it's really, I don't know who is benefiting. We need to harmonize the exchange rate to be one single valuation, exchange evaluation.
And Demola, do you agree with my idea of redenominating the naira? Actually, compressing.
When you say about redominating the naira, it depends on what are you going to redominate, to a higher value or to a lower value.
Yeah, for example, in Ghana, in those days, I remember what they did was that they made 1,000 cedis to become 1 cedis. So call it super naira. So that right now, for example, the 1,000 naira note, for example, is the most bastardized. You go to parties, they are spraying it. If you make one naira note into 1 naira coin, you will not find people to be spraying people anymore in parties.
I understand.
And then the 1 naira, if the new 1 naira is the current 1,000 naira, it means that it's very heavy.
Deji, the currency in Ghana is worse now than in Nigeria. I'm telling you the truth. The currency is Ghana. It's really worse. It's coming to a level now, and this is why the fear I'm having that and we need to really fight against this. What happened to Zimbabwe? What happened? Because what is happening in Ghana is now they are not even recognizing or even accepting their local currency anymore. They are trading in dollar now. People are trading in dollar now, mostly in Ghana now. And we should not allow this to happen to Nigeria economy as well. So we should not allow this to happen to us. In every way we do, whatever it is, we need to bring sanity into our currency. Part of it is our exchange. What are we exchanging for foreign good? If we are not exchanging much for foreign good, we should not buy more of foreign good. If you want to buy foreign good, then you should be able to trade also to have foreign currency. If we are not producing anything for export, we should discourage importation. Because if you don't export, you don't have foreign exchange. So if we are now looking for foreign exchange and you don't have it, then your currency, because your currency is not valuable to others. One of the reasons we advise on this, we need to intensify our inter-African trade. And we should encourage our inter-African trader to buy in naira. That will strengthen our money. That will strengthen our currency. That will discourage us from buying outside. If we are selling our product to African country in naira, and they are demanding for our naira, then it will make naira more appreciable and can be spent everywhere in Africa.
Okay. Thank you, Demola. Let me go over to Lighton and then to Shuko. Lighton, immediately after the announcement by the central bank governor, some of these senators, some of these politicians came up and they have started attacking it. It's not good. It's not good for the polity. It's not good economic. And in fact, the Minister for Finance said, I don't know anything about it. I wasn't carried along. Why are the politicians quick to attack this matter?
Maybe they think that the policy is not.
Is it because they've stored money that they want to spend for the election?
Yeah, not only that the policy is against them. And not only that, there is a caveat here. I saw the new notes. I saw one of the notes.
You already seen the new notes?
Cow. I saw the new notes. No, they designed it.
They have not printed it. They have not printed it.
maybe it's. I mean, I've not.
Somebody is
I
just
saw one.
that's just fake news. That's just fake news.
Oh, they fake news. Okay, because I saw one with cow at the back.
Yeah,
I
that's
said,
fake
I wish
news.
because so those people, the Nigerian leaders, they are like Demola and Shupo said, they are the enemies of the country. It is their own interest. They don't look at the interest of the generality of the people. They are less concerned. What point one they are satisfied, they don't care about what happens to other people. But they forgot that if we do, they will still go back to go and become a floor member in Nigeria. So it's sickening. It's pathetic. When you see people who we voted for to go and represent us, they cannot represent us, but they're representing their own interests. I saw during Sharaki regime, I mean, when Sharaki was the Senate president, they keep talking about this insecurity. Can you believe they didn't do anything? They did not do anything. They did not arrest the situation until it escalated to this situation. And in redenominating Naira, I mean, in this currency they are printing all over the world. I saw these people, the economy in Germany, economy in Britain, economy in US, the highest denomination in US is $100. Where are they printing $5,000? About 5,000 naira in Nigeria. They forgot that anything where you are, I mean, if you want to buy, maybe if you want to, like before I left Nigeria, this bottle was like less than 70, less than 100 naira. I mean, 0, less than 50 naira. But when I got back to Nigeria, it said 150. Bottle water, 150. So everything will skyrocket, right? And everything it will lead to inflation again. All these $55,000, 5,000 naira to 2,000 naira they want to print I don't see it as economic. It's not economically sense. It doesn't make sense economically. So I don't see anything very good in it. Thank you.
Okay, Shuko, I want to ask you a question that I think might interest you. Okay. So the question is that we know that the central bank's motive is politically motivated. As he said himself that 80% of the money in circulation is outside of the banks, which means that some of these godfathers, some of these money bags, they have actually put this money aside, so that they can use it to bribe. We saw the way they were bribing people in Ekiti during the election. So if Emefiele is able to pull this off and is able to, collect all this money from all these APC and PDP stalwarts, do you think that will put the obedience in a level playing ground?
Well, that's a very important question, actually.
Okay.
Well, personally, I think all that does is that, because anybody who has any currency that they've stashed away would basically be mandated to swap it for the new one. So in my mind, it doesn't really stop politicians in Nigeria from doing what they intend to do. It just makes it a bit tougher. All it does is it makes it tougher for them, because now they have to bring all the money that they've stashed away. They have to swap it. But in my mind, this is a country where people do things very openly and quite brazenly. I mean, it's a country, for example, where people who have been involved in terrorist activities, who have either profited or received money, the lists have been given to the government. The government has really done nothing. So I'll be honest with you, my cynical self, I don't think even if the central bank becomes aware of certain politicians bringing a lot of stashed money out, I don't think they're going to do anything. They're just going to swap it. And these people are going to go back and do the same thing that they've intended to do in the first place. As a matter of fact, they may even get a higher priority in swapping currencies that they've stashed away, much more than the average man. These things happen every day in Nigeria. The only thing that I think that does is that it brings out all the money that's been stashed away, back through the banks, and the government may know, who has what.
So what we are hearing is that they want to collect this money and to bank into the banking system, and then prevent people from actually withdrawing them. And
well, you can't.
Yeah, they want I mean, there's going to be a policy in place whereby you can withdraw maybe something amount, maybe 100,000 in 1 month or something, so that they actually want to encourage
electronic
transaction. So what they want to do basically is to collect this money and then make sure that they are not able to actually collect the money in cash back.
So this brings me back to having leaders that actually do things that are in the best interest of the country. If we pursue this policy not for political reasons, but actually for the economic and security benefits, then actually we are going to be able to solve a lot more problems. Because when transactions are electronic, they are a lot more transparent. With the right judicial process, you can actually see who is getting what, who is giving, who is taking, and then you can question why money was given, why money was taken. If it's still passing from hand to hand, it's a lot more difficult to trace. So it's a good policy on its own. It is not only going to have good repercussions when we look at it from the political optics, if they actually implement it the way you've explained. Because what it will do is it will curb the ability for people to actually give bribes, either for political reasons or for any other reasons. So if we pursue policies like that, for a lot of other reasons, I think at the end of the day, it might help us. But I'm surprised that this government is actually thinking of that, because, if I look at a lot of things that the government has done, they have not demonstrated, in my opinion, that they are, for law and order transparently. Because what it looks like, the things that have been happening is bad people, on the other side, have been investigated, but bad people, on their side, they've pretty much looked away.
Thank you very much, bro. So anyway, we've come to the end of today's deliberations. Our time is fast spent, so I'm just going to give you guys just one liner, just 1 minute each, to wrap up your thoughts. So, Demola, let me start with you. What is your final opinion on the matter of currency?
Yeah, to me, it's a good idea, and I believe if it's done with all honesty and transparency, it will help Nigeria to have financial stability to a lot of extent, and it also curb the theft or corruptions. But we need to watch out, because Nigeria are very, very creative. Yes, Naira may be very difficult to spend when this is mop up, but a lot of them are already spending in dollar already. And that may be another, because we may not be able to mop up the dollar. But if people are not spending, we need to curb the act of spending foreign currency in Nigeria. If anybody is spending foreign currency in Nigeria, as I know when I was young earlier, when you put any foreign currency in Nigeria, it's an offense. It's a criminal offense. People usually get arrested. You need to convert that currency to Naira to spend it. When people are not spending hard currency, foreign currency in Nigeria, they should make it an offense, because no foreign currency is a legal tender in Nigeria unless it is converted to the local currency.
Thank you very much, Demola. Lighton, please unmute yourself, please. Hello, Lighton, can you unmute? Okay, what's your what is your final comment on the currency issue?
Yeah, my final comment on this issue is we should tread softly, so we don't create more problems than what we want to solve. Printing $5, 5,000 naira, 2,000 naira is, I don't think we need it now. We need lower denomination. So when we are spending lower denomination, the rate people are stealing will be reduced. Right? Because everything, and not only that, the prices of goods and services will not go up, right? So that is my thing. That is my thing. That is my stand.
Thank you.
And now I'm moved to correction. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Light and Super. What's your last comment on the currency issue?
Well, I think we need new fiscal policies in Nigeria, and fiscal policies actually that will live longer than an administration. I think likely we've left things to whoever is in charge to do what they think is best. But I think now we need to have a monetary and a fiscal policy that is more longer term and that will be in the best interest of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. So we come to the end of today's deliberations, and I want to thank you all for coming to today's meeting. Mr. Ademola Adisa from United Kingdom, thank you for coming to today's meeting.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Mr. Ola Tandidiba in the United States of America, thank you for coming to today's meeting. Yeah, please unmute. And Mr. Olalawa in Canada, thank you for coming to today's meeting.
My pleasure being here today.
Thank you for having me this morning.
And for all our subscribers, again, thank you for viewing. Please, if you have not subscribed, please push that subscription button. It's free of charge. It means that when we do our next video, you'll be one of the first people to hear or to know about it and be able to watch it. If you like this video, please share it, click on the like button and send it to your friends. Until we see you again, that will be next week Sunday, 7 p.m. GMT. We'll see you again on Sunday. Thank you. God bless you all.